Welcome back to Green is Good. Today we are so honored to have Marty Metro, who's the founder and CEO of UseCardboardBoxes.com, which is an earth-friendly company which helps you recycle your cardboard boxes. And Marty, I've known you for years and I've known your story, but I'm so glad you're on the show today to share with Mike and myself and our listeners your great story of entrepreneurship, but also the eco revolution that you've created in the used cardboard boxes industry. Marty, welcome to Green is Good.
Thank you so much, John. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and to share our story with you.
Hey, so Marty, you've been passionate since the day I met you, and you are a great eco-entrepreneur. Tell us how you came up with this idea, what year you came up with it, and how you went from an idea and a vision to where you are today.
Well, John, it was not easy, and I think that other people listening to the show realize it's not easy, and I've learned a lot through this process, and my company has evolved a lot through the process, and I spend a lot of time sharing with other small companies kind of the roadblocks and speed bumps and failures that I've been through trying to help other people. So I'll give you the the quick version. My background is large-scale enterprise technology, and I spent about 10 years after getting my MBA. I worked with large Fortune 500 companies working on big software systems for Boeing and AT&T and Conagra, big companies. And after the dot-com bust, it was really fun to be in the dot-coms. There seemed to be lots of money going around, and everyone's expense reports were padded, and everyone was having a good time. And then all of a sudden, it all ended, and you were left with, gee, what have I really been doing? And in maybe 2001, I sat there unemployed because the two companies that I used to work for both had gone bankrupt. And I had all this technology experience and all this knowledge. And I said, what have I been doing? Like, what value have I really been creating on this earth? And my wife and I were driving across the country, literally going home to live with her parents because we didn't have any other options. And I saw a moving truck, and it was full of boxes. And I said to my wife,
and what year was this, Marty? What year was this?
This was 2001.
Okay, gotcha.
And I said to my wife, I got a question for you. When people move into their homes and they want to be environmentally friendly and they want to recycle, they break down all their moving boxes, but where do they put them? They can't fit in those blue bins that the city gives us, so where do they end up putting them? And you realize that a lot of people just put them out in their front yard. And at the same time, where do people go when they're moving? I don't care if you're moving from Beverly Hills to Bel Air or if you're moving from an apartment to another apartment. You generally go to the liquor stores and the grocery stores or to your office, and you snag a few boxes.
That's right.
And I realize there's a big disconnect with people throwing away boxes and people needing boxes.
Got it.
And that was the beginning of a 7-year journey going from moving boxes to now what we do. We do both moving boxes, but we also do corporate business to business where we buy and sell tractor trailer loads of used boxes.
So I love it. You developed this rescue, resell, and recycle model, and you just took your passion and your vision, and you became now one of the leading eco-entrepreneurs in America.
I guess you could say that. It's still a struggle. We're still learning new things every day, but where we started in 2002, buying a few boxes here and selling a few boxes there, we now buy millions of boxes by the tractor trailer load, and we turn around and, as you said, rescue, resell, recycle. We rescue boxes from Fortune 500 companies all across the country. The first thing we do is try to resell them, either to other companies that need them, or we package our moving kits, and via UPS we ship earth-friendly moving kits all across the country. And if we can't resell them because they're damaged or not a good enough quality, then and only then do we actually recycle them.
And we're talking about every zip code in this country. All of our listeners can participate with your great website, UseCardboardBoxes.com. You cover every zip code?
I am very happy to say, unless you're lucky enough to be in Hawaii or Alaska, We can deliver quality used boxes to your door, guaranteed within 2 business days, and we do not charge shipping.
Wow, that is amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it.
And the way we've done it, John, very similar to your company.
Yep.
We can't pick something up in Los Angeles and deliver it to New York cost effectively, and as we all know, that's not environmentally friendly either.
Right.
So the way we've done it, very much like electronic recyclers, is we've created hubs, smaller locations in local areas across the country where we buy locally, sort locally, and sell locally.
Logistic hubs.
Exactly.
Got
it. I mean, we learned it from FedEx. They're creator of the hub system. They got it to work, and we do on a very different level. We do very similar.
So tell our listeners, and Mike and I want to know, how big is this cardboard box industry in the United States, and how, what kind of course, our listeners want to save money, but as Mike was pointing out earlier about his own move and recycling the boxes to his niece, you also get to save the planet. So what is the real market size here?
Well, it's funny. When we first started buying and selling moving boxes, we looked in the moving industry, and we understood how many boxes were being sold in the moving industry. And yeah, there's a couple $100 million being bought and sold in the moving industry. And then we dug deeper, and we started realizing in order to do this, we needed to get into corporate America. And we learned a staggering number. About $40 billion, and that's billion with a B, dollars worth of cardboard boxes are created every single year right here in the United States. There's about 1,600 box plants. Many of them run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, cutting down trees, processing them, putting them on a tractor trailer, driving them into another processor, putting them on a tractor trailer, making boxes, putting them on a tractor trailer, sending them out to a distributor, and so forth. Worldwide, it's about $120 billion industry.
Just in the manufacture and transportation.
Wow.
It's sickening, and I won't waste your time or bore you, but you got to think about it. The trees are grown, up in Seattle and Portland and upstate New York, but the boxes are needed in Chicago. So you got the boxes, you got the trees being cut down, put in a truck, transported to a pulp maker. They're made into pulp, and then they're transported to a paper maker. Made into paper, then it's transported to a corrugator, and then they're made into corrugate sheets, and they're transported to a box manufacturer. It's crazy how many trucks are involved moving this stuff around.
So you talk about a carbon footprint, Marty. Just for a single box, that carbon footprint has to be huge.
It's sickening, and I would love to tell you that I knew every single spec involved. We're still learning, and we've got a little video on our website that's about a 4-minute video on our website that explains the process and how involved it is and how many trucks are involved. And, we're not rocket scientists. We're not, we just figured out a simple way to say, hey, there are big companies that are throwing away these boxes. We're going to buy them in bulk. We're going to provide a earth-friendly process for the big companies. We're going to turn around. We're going to do the sorting. We're going to do the inspecting, and then we're going to resell them locally so they don't have to travel across country.
That sounds amazing. Marty, we want to hear more of the story. We want to hear, our listeners want to know how to be involved and how to both save money and save the planet at the same time. So we're going to take a little commercial break here. We're going to come on back with Marty Metro and his great business, usecardboardboxes.com. Come on back to Green is Good. Welcome back to Green is Good. Today we got Marty Metro on the line. Marty's the founder and owner of usecardboardboxes.com. Marty, your story is a great story, but I have a question for you. If Mike didn't have a niece that was moving two or 3 weeks after he moved, but he wanted to do the green thing, which he does always, and recycle his 75-plus boxes from his move, what happens then? How does he engage your company to then recycle those boxes, or does he have to find another outlet for them?
That's a great question, John, and a question we get all the time. And to digress just a second, when we started this company years ago, we had little moving vans and little delivery vans that drove around Los Angeles, picking up people's boxes at their houses, bringing them back and reselling them. And we learned very quickly that in order to do what we want to do on a national level and make a huge impact, it wasn't about little delivery vans in every neighborhood in the country. It was about utilizing companies like UPS and utilizing tractor trailers that are already on the road. So we evolved to a company where we have that hub system, and we don't have the facilities, nor do we want to have trucks on the road driving out to everyone's house. So what we've done is we've created a website called freecardboardboxes.com.
And what does that website do? It's a great name. What does it do?
Well, it's basically taking the Craigslist concept,
okay,
but instead of searching through hundreds of ads for everything, that is out there, it is simply for our customers and anyone else out there in the country that has from one to, an enormous amount of boxes that can hook up with people in their local neighborhoods by zip code and by city where they can trade boxes. No money has changed hands. We don't make any money. The people that have boxes don't make any money, and the people that get boxes don't pay any money. It's simply a way to share boxes in our local neighborhood. We get people that call us up and say, I just bought a refrigerator. I've got an enormous refrigerator box. What do I do with it? And then 2 weeks later, we get a phone call, hey, my kids just came home and they want to build a fort. Can I get some boxes to build a fort? Well, we as a company don't do that. So we built freecardboardboxes.com to connect those two people so that an old refrigerator box can become a fort for some young kids.
And you endear them more to your main brand, which, of course, makes you money. Use cardboardboxes.com by democratizing the process of recycling boxes that don't make sense logistically for you to come pick up.
Exactly. We know we're never going to sell one used refrigerator box. We know we're never going to sell 3 or 4 small boxes.
Brilliant.
So rather than push those people away and make them go buy a retail box, we created this free service. And, of course, if you can't find what you need, we'd love for you to come to usecardboardboxes.com. We'll deliver it in 2 business days guaranteed for free. But if you can find what you need or you can give away what you have, give them away at freecardboardboxes.com.
So let's talk. That's amazing. So our listeners have to either use usecardboardboxes.com or freecardboardboxes.com. Now let's talk more about recycling and really the misnomer of recycling of cardboard boxes here in America and why it's so important for people to utilize your great website. Speak a little bit about really how does recycling really happen with regards to cardboard boxes and where does it happen and why should people be using your great service, Marty?
Well, John, I love the word you used, which is a misnomer. I like to use the word misnomer or fallacy. We deal with a lot of big Fortune 500 companies, and the same old story happens. We talk to them about what we do, and they say, no, that's okay. We already recycle. And I ask them, do you know where your boxes go when you recycle? And they say, I don't know. I assume they get recycled and, somebody else uses them. Like, the cardboard is used to make roofing tiles for the poor people in the inner city. And I say, that's a really beautiful picture. That's not what happens. And I have to explain to people that when you put your cardboard boxes in a blue bin or in a big, trailer when
right.
those big waste management companies come picks it up, those boxes get baled, loaded up on a truck, sent down to the closest port, and shipped out to China. And the reason why is because, when our economy is good,
right.
China is shipping us all of our electronics, all
right.
of our cell phones, our computers, and they need boxes to ship it to us in, so they buy our scrap. They use it as pulp. They make new boxes because they don't have the trees over there to cut down, and they send our electronics back to us in recycled boxes. So on a global scale, that's a beautiful thing. Our scrap is being used to create pulp to send over to, our scrap is being used to send to China to create pulp so they can make new boxes to send us back our electronics. That's a beautiful global thing, but there's 2 problems with it. Number one, the amount of emissions and carbon footprint to put an ocean liner,
yep.
send it back to China. And number 2, the richest woman in mainland China, who's a multi-billionaire,
yep.
she makes her money buying our scrap cardboard, which really doesn't need to be scrap. We can use it right here in the U.S.
Right.
So we are out to show the world that you don't have to ship your scrap to China and make someone else rich. You can keep it right here in the U.S. and use that profit here first.
And you can also, I mean, if you're going peer-to-peer, you can save somebody money, which over the long term could just make that person rich with free boxes, huh?
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, picture your typical Fortune 500 manufacturer that's making widgets. Mm-hmm. They make their widgets, but they need to buy their screws, and those screws come in cardboard boxes. They open up their screws, and they throw away their boxes into a big bin, and they end up going to China, making somebody else rich. What we do is we say, hey, ABC Widget Company, you're getting hundreds of thousands of screws in boxes. We've got XYZ Gadget Company who would like to use those boxes right here in the U.S.
Got it. Well, Marty, tell us who your competition is, because, you know, Mike and I, we read a lot. We're, you know, we watch, you know, our fair share of media. But we've never heard of such a great concept. Do you have competition, and who is it?
Well, you know, thank you, John, for asking that question and for realizing that you've never heard of us. And we are a small company that's growing very fast. We've got 9 distribution centers across North America that make and ship our kits, but still, no one's ever heard of us.
Right.
We sell millions of boxes, but no one's ever heard of us.
Right.
We've got a couple of different competitors, and I don't mean to say anything negative about anybody else.
No.
U-Haul.
Yeah.
U-Haul sells millions of dollars of boxes, and we sell boxes just like them, but cheaper.
Got it.
Public Storage sells millions of dollars of boxes. We sell boxes just like them, but cheaper.
Good.
And then you've got and those are on the consumer side.
Right.
On the business side, you know, International Paper, Weyerhaeuser, Smurfit Stone, who just filed for bankruptcy, sells billions with a B dollars of boxes. We sell the same ones, but cheaper.
Got it.
So, you know, not to go on beating a dead horse, but when you grow out of your shirt,
right,
you don't tear it up.
Right.
You give it to your son or you give it to your cousin.
Right.
When you stop playing the saxophone, you don't melt it down.
Right.
You give it to somebody else who plays the saxophone. We're doing the same thing with cardboard boxes.
So, in other words, as we just talked about your competition, if people go to your great website, usecardboardboxes.com, they can save money and really feel good about themselves because they're really saving the planet at the same time.
Absolutely. We you know, our funny little tagline that we say over and over is, you don't have to cut down a tree to make a used cardboard box.
I like it.
We like that.
I like that a lot. You know, we're thinking of something else here, too, while you're talking, Marty, is you're talking about the widget company that's getting the screws in the boxes, and there's XYZ Widget Company that also needs those boxes that the screws come in. It stands to reason that if XYZ gets the boxes and those boxes are used, they're cutting down their production and manufacturing cost, which in turn could lead to lower price point for the consumer who wants to go buy an XYZ widget.
I love your thinking, and you're exactly right. We pay more than the recycling rate for used boxes. So if you're a Fortune 500 or even a Fortune 2000 manufacturer out there, and you're getting $50 a ton for corrugated, we pay more, and we want to talk to you. If you are a manufacturer out there and you are buying boxes, you know, from International Paper, from Weyerhaeuser, from Smurfit Stone, if you're buying boxes so that you can ship your products, we can most likely get you boxes just like those for cheaper and less of an environmental footprint. You can take that cost and you can say, hey, I used to sell my gadgets for $2.50, but now I'm saving 5 cents a box. I can sell them for $2.45 and sell more widgets.
So as a green entrepreneur, Marty, you've got a great business model. You cover every zip code in this country. All of our listeners, business and home users, homeowners should be using this concept. Is this, come on, being green, is it being a green businessman and eco entrepreneur? This is easy, right?
Oh, John, just like I know you've been through, this is the hardest thing I have ever done in my life, and it is the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. We have made a lot of mistakes. We have spent a lot of money, and we have hit our heads against the wall many, many times. But we know that this is not only cost-effective for both our suppliers and our customers. We know it's the right thing to do, and I think we all agree the right thing to do is what wins in the end. We've had, we've had our share of challenges, and I've been doing this since 2002.
Right.
When people were like, used boxes. I don't care about used boxes. Why would I want a used box?
Right.
And our revenues and our volume and our locations have grown, exponentially. And we're still, as you said at the beginning of the show,
right.
Nobody knows who we are.
No, and I don't mean it that way. I just meant I want our listeners to now know, because Mike and I are so excited about your great service. But, small entrepreneurial ventures don't usually get a chance to buy a commercial on, during the Super Bowl. So we want to help.
And we don't. And we don't. And no, I didn't take it the wrong way. You're right. People don't know about usedcardboardboxes.com. We have been growing by leaps and bounds, and it's hard. We have to work every single day to figure out how we can change the world, how we can educate the world. And guess what? We don't have money for commercials. We don't have money for banners and billboards and so forth. We have to change the world by creating value, not by fancy taglines, not by fancy commercials, not by Super Bowl ads. We have to change the world by actually creating value, and it takes time.
Well, you know what? That's such a great message, Marty, because our listeners and Mike and I, everyone wants a value. No matter how rich or how much money you have or don't have, everyone wants value, especially in the economy that we live in today. So your service is truly a value-add service, because you can feel good about what you're doing and also save the planet. We're down to the last minute or so, Marty. Do you have any pearls of wisdom or anything green that our listeners can do, both businesses and consumers, that you want to share as a last couple, little pearls of wisdom you want to leave them with?
Sure. I'll give two quick wisdoms, one to businesses and one to consumers.
Perfect.
To businesses, it's not easy being green. You've got to be a business first and then incorporate being green into your business. You can't just go out and say, I'm going to be a green business. You have to run a business so it's sustainable, and you can integrate green into all aspects of your business. To the consumers, I will say, you know what? We've got enough stuff. We have to stop manufacturing things just to manufacture them. We have to stop building cars just so we can sell them. We have to stop making new TVs just so we can buy them. We've got enough stuff. There's enough poor people in this country. Let's share some of the stuff we have. Let's use the TVs. Let's use the computers. Let's use the boxes that we already have before we make new ones.
Marty, that's such great advice, and it's such an honor for Mike and I to have you on our show today. Your honesty and frankness about recycling and entrepreneurship are so appreciated, and it's such a clear message that our listeners want to hear. Marty, your two websites, we want our listeners to go use them, both freecardboardboxes.com and especially usedcardboardboxes.com. All our listeners, businesses and general consumers, should be using them. And Marty Metro, you are reason and living proof that green is good.